Well, there is a growing threat to women from men who are often frustrated sexually, and they're turning to extreme acts of violence against women because they can't find romance.
Fox 13's Ernie Freeman reports on a dangerous group of men called incels.
If I can't have you, girls, I will destroy you.
Elliot Roger was a sexually frustrated 22-year-old.
I'm 22 years old, and I'm still a virgin. I've never even kissed a girl.
He died a virgin because one day after recording this video in May of 2014, he shot 20 people near the University of California at Santa Barbara, killing 6 and then killing himself.
I hate all of you.
The inability to find romance is what led to Roger's extremism. He was what's known as an incel, someone who is involuntarily celibate. 8 years later, Rogers is a hero to many young men like him. And law enforcement and civil rights groups are worried his ideals are spreading and more women will be targeted.
Threatening their lives, threatening them sexually. And this all stems from this ideology, the incel ideology, which essentially blames women for men's lack of success in relationships and in sexual relationships specifically.
While the vast majority of women-hating incels are in dark forums and dark corners of the internet, Jessica Reeves with the Anti-Defamation League says that's no reason to doubt their hateful speech online won't lead to another Elliot Rogers situation in real life.
I can't think of anything much more worthy of law enforcement's time than the safety and lives of women.
The threat's so real that in March, the U.S. Secret Service released a threat assessment of incels. They zeroed in on the 2018 attack at a yoga studio in Tallahassee, Florida, where an incel killed 2 women and injured 6 more. Reeves says incel ideology is akin to extremism in white supremacist and terror groups.
There's absolutely some overlap. If you spend time, which I don't recommend, on incel forums, you will see some white supremacist language, some anti-Semitic language, certainly extremely racist language on these incel sites, but it is not an all-encompassing thing. And certainly there are many incels we know who are men of color.
We found that 36% of incels in our study were incels of color.
William Costello is a PhD candidate at the University of Texas who wrote his master's dissertation on incels. He says while they are politically and ethnically diverse, other factors might be warning signs of future danger. 18% are NEETs, not in education, employment, or training. 50% still live with a parent, and 36% have a high school diploma or lower, factors that reduce their chances in the mating game.
Some research does show that unwanted celibacy, being unable to access sex, does predict misogynistic attitudes.
And Costello says what truly binds incels is the almost fatalistic belief that they will never find romance with a woman, the so-called black pill philosophy.
So for incels, the black pill describes a particularly bleak truth to swallow. And in this case, it refers to their idea that there was nothing they could ever do to improve their romantic prospects, that it was over from the beginning, so there's no point in even trying.
Costello says the incels he studied showed signs of deep depression and anxiety, which makes them dangerous to women and to themselves.
It's almost invariably been suicide by cop. It's been, going on a spree killing while being very aware that they're going to be killed themselves in the process.
With this known and growing danger from incels, I asked the Memphis Police Department, which has a female police chief, if they had any incel intel and a plan to protect local women. MPD never responded.
I'm really happy that you brought up the issue of law enforcement, because I think that they're the first step. And, we do try to educate as many law enforcement agencies as possible on this issue. And, if you have a contact, and you can say, listen, ADL is happy to do a 1-hour presentation that'll just get you guys up to speed on some of the threats that we're seeing from incels, I'd be more than happy to do that.
According to that threat assessment from the Secret Service, one way to reduce the risk of future attacks is to have appropriate systems in place to identify incels.
You never showed me any mercy, and so I will show you none.
and identify the warning signs and take appropriate action before it's too late. Ernie Freeman, Fox 13 Investigates.
Well, federal investigators say since the early 2000s, incels have killed roughly 50 people, mostly women in mass shootings. But they say that they have thwarted many more acts of hate against women.
In fact, the National Threat Assessment Center says that going forward, it's critical for everyone involved in public safety to pay very close attention to these incel communities and make sure that they're protecting women.